tonight we are on. Yeah, don't play it yet. We're on part 3. Can y'all put up 3? Put it up 3. Oh, that's like Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts. All right. Okay, so part 3 of a 4-part series, and we've talked about, what 2 things have we talked about so far? Attracciones and dating. And today is the 3-letter booger word. S-E-X. Sex. Okay, we'll be talking about sex tonight. And then, wasn't that awkward? It's like, he just said sex in church. Oh my goodness. I'm uncomfortable. Okay, and then we're going to end the week, or the lesson series with what? Marriage. We're going to talk about marriage, right? Marriage. Yeah, that's French for marriage. All right, here we go. Last week, we talked about dating, and we talked about two different types of dating. What were they? They were the high road and the low road, and they were, the first is intelligent dating, and the second is brainless dating. Okay, so you got to date intelligently. Intelligent high road, brainless low road. Moving on. Intelligent dating is dating successfully, right? Being selective about who you date, not just dating anybody. You want to date people that are good people today, right? So hanging out, having fun, keeping your standards, right? You want to keep your standards when you date, and you're not going to allow your boyfriend or girlfriend to dictate your life. Some people are like so centered on their boyfriend or girlfriend. You know anybody like that? Yes. So annoying. Those people are so annoying. Okay, so don't get centered on a boy or a girl. It's not good. It's not good. Okay, brainless dating. All right, brainless dating is ineffectively dating anyone becoming centered on your boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay, if you let them dictate your life and you can't hang out with your normal friends because now you're going out with this girl or whatever, that's brainless dating. You don't have a brain. Having your heart broken repeatedly. Okay? Doing what everybody else seems to be doing. That's all brainless dating. Okay, so that was our dating checkup. And we kind of went through that thing, right? All right. Well, a couple things that I said. What was my opinion on dating?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Why would I say, hey, you guys listen up over here. Maddie, listen up right here. Over here, okay? Let them move somewhere. Move to the back. Go sit by Missy. Hey, you guys, listen up right here. So, my opinion on dating is what? Don't do it, right? Well, why would I basically, my opinion is that it's probably better not to date. Okay, it's not necessarily not to do it. I dated when I was younger, but I think it's better not to, just because it is. Most people in high school do get married to the people they date. No, it doesn't happen. Okay, they do not get married. I haven't even seen anybody in high school like since I went to college. I don't see any of those people anymore. So you're most likely not going to date or get married to the people you date in high school. Y'all believe me? Whatever. So, anyways, most people, that's not the case. Would you old adults say that? That's probably the case. You're not going to marry somebody you date in high school.
Probably not, because you don't know who you are really yet.
Right. Okay. So you're not going to do that, right? Hey, y'all, listen up. Daniel, come on, man.
Develop till about the mid-20s.
Yes, you're talking all the time. Hang on. All right, and I say don't date. Why? Because it costs money. You could get hurt, right? Or you're gonna get hurt when you date. It hurts when you get broken up because you're gonna break up. And what's the? Hey, you guys, look, Maddie. Come on, stop talking. All of you guys, this little group right there. Okay. Don't date because it costs money. Don't date because you could get hurt. And the main reason is what we're going to talk about tonight. Because you can make a choice that would change the rest of your life, right? And that choice is sex, right? Which you don't want to make that choice. And sometimes you get in a position where you think that's the right thing to do, and it's not. So here we go. We're going to play this video.
We came to the point where we had a lot of alone time, and what I regret now is having sex with him.
I didn't think that I could get her pregnant. I didn't think of any of those consequences. I just thought of the momentary pleasure that I was getting from it.
It's a blow to your self-esteem to be walking down the street and have a guy walk up to you and be like, I know who you are. Like, no girl wants to be known as the high school slut.
It started to affect who I was. I could no longer, just see a girl walking on the street without immediately thinking of sex and porn and what it would be like to have sex with her and wishing that I could have sex with her.
I can't tell my parents. I can't tell the people at church. I can't face people at school. Like, everyone is going to be disappointed in me. Everyone's going to judge me, and I'm just going to I'm going to have to go to another country.
I ended up having to go home with my tear-stained face and my mom asking me what happened.
I justified it in my mind because I was like, well, I love her, I think.
I felt dirty every single time. I knew what God had for me, and I knew that I'm not supposed to be having sex before marriage.
Well, it's real easy to tell that we live in a totally sex-saturated society. Today, sex it's glorified, and in its glorification, you just see it everywhere, and there are some harmful messages and some actually inaccurate messages that lead people to make stupid decisions for their life. And these bad decisions can result in people carrying around deep wounds and hurts and painful memories. But there's some great news for you about sex, is that God created sex to be good, to be great, to be wonderful, to be in the context of marriage. And that was God's design.
The reason I don't hesitate to talk about sex, what do you guys see on TV all the time? What do you guys see, what do you guys hear in music? What do you guys hear in music all the time? Okay, you're gonna hear it, you're gonna see it. Some of you guys enjoy listening to that stuff, which I'm sorry, I pray for you, because it's not good stuff to listen to. Howard Stern won't hesitate to talk to you about sex. Madonna's not gonna hesitate. Rap music doesn't stop. That's what it's about. That's what they're all sending you messages about sex. And some of you guys believe it. Some of you guys are believing that the message that they're sending you is the right one. And most of it's untrue, and most of it's impure. It's not good. And so they're sending you this anti-God view of what sex is. And our culture just eats it up. They think that it's the way to go, and it's not. I'm going to read from Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 8 is where we're going to start. Such a lovely little book. Such a lovely book. Listen, my lover, look, here he comes, leaping across the mountains, bounding over the hills. Can you picture him? He's frolicking. He's frolicking. My lover is like a gazelle or a young stag. I don't know what a stag runs like, but okay. Look, there he stands behind your wall, gazing through the windows, peering through the lattice. Not the lettuce, the lattice. My lover spoke and said to me, arise, my darling, my beautiful one, and come with me. Arise. See, the winter is past, the rains are over and gone. Flowers appear on the earth. The season of singing has come. The cooing of the doves is heard. In our land. The fig tree forms its fruit, early fruit. The blossoming vines spread their fragrance. Arise, come, my darling, my beautiful one, come with me. And we're going to, oh, you got it. We're going to chapter 3, verse 5. My dove in the clefts. My dove in the cleft of the rock, in the hiding places on the mountain, show me your face. Let me hear your voice. For your voice is sweet and your face is lovely. Catch for us the foxes, the little fox. We're gonna focus on this verse in here in just a second. Write down Song of Solomon or Song 2:15. We're gonna talk about this verse, Song 2:15. Catch for us the foxes, the little foxes that ruin the vineyards, our vineyards that are in bloom. My lover is mine and I am his. He browses among the lilies. Until the day breaks and the shadows flee, turn, my lover, and be like a gazelle or like a young stag on the rugged hills. All night long on my bed, I looked for the one my heart loves. I looked for him, but did not find him. Girls, do you ever dream about your special guy? Friend that you're thinking? That's what she's doing. She's dreaming. I will get up now and go about the city, through its streets and squares. I will search for the one my heart loves. Oh, that's so sweet. She's going to search for him. So I looked for him, but did not find him. Oh no, what do we do? The watchmen found me as they made their rounds in the city. Have you seen the one that my heart loves? Scarcely had I passed them when I found the one my heart loves. Oh, isn't this joyous? She found him. I found the one that I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him where? To my mother's house. To the room of the one who conceived me. Do you know what that means? Daughters of Jerusalem. Okay, you need to write this verse down too. 3:15 or 3:5. Sorry. Daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you by the gazelles and by the does of the field. Do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. Pretty crazy thing, right? What does that last verse mean? Do not arouse or why? We're getting there. Is it? I don't have the verse up there. It should be Song of Solomon 2:7, and all of them. Okay, this verse is basically repeated 3 different times in the book of the Song of Solomon. Okay, it says, "Daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you by the gazelles and by the does of the field." What? Repeat this with me. Can y'all read it? Do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. Okay. And then you jump to chapter 3, verse 5, and what does it say? Chapter 3, verse 5. Next one. Oh my goodness. The same thing. Do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. And then the last one is 8:4, I think. Yeah. Daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you, what? Do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires, right? Okay, so don't arouse or awaken love until it so desires. And then the other thing is, what do you think that's talking about? We just realized that this couple is dating, right? They're dating, and what happens when you date somebody? Okay, she wanted to be with her boyfriend or her fiance or whoever it was. Okay, what happens? Well, you are tempted sexually, okay? And this is talking about do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. Basically what it's saying is don't put yourself in a position where you want to have sex with somebody because you're not ready for it. You don't need to arouse love, that part of love, until it's ready. Okay, you don't need to arouse it until it's ready. And it says that 3 different times. And then in Song of Solomon chapter 2, verse 15, what does it say about the foxes? It says, catch for us the foxes. What foxes is she talking about, or is they talking about? Okay, if you read the passage, which we just read before, it talks about the flowers are blooming and all this stuff. And what I see in that is they've been dating, and their love is blooming, right? And when you get in a relationship, and you get to know that person better and better and better, then you kind of begin to, I don't know, your love blossoms. Does that make sense? It blooms, okay? And it says this, catch for us the foxes, the little foxes that ruin the vineyard. So we have this beautiful thing that's happening. But if we allow sex to enter into this thing before it's time, then it'll ruin everything that we have that's beautiful. That's what it's saying. If we get involved in that before we get married, then it's going to ruin everything that's beautiful. So that's the part of Song of Solomon that we're going to read this morning. Now, in love, there are 3 ingredients to love, and there's 3 different things, and one is raya. It's a Hebrew word. It's called raya. You know what that means? It means the friendship or companionship part of love. Raya. Can y'all say that? Raya. 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 Okay. Y'all can write it down in your book. It's R-A-Y-A. Raya. It's the friendship part of love. And then there's another part of love. Okay. And that is bahava. You say that? Bahava. B-A-H-A-V-A. B-A-H-A-V-A. Raya, bahava. Yep. And that means the commitment part of a relationship. Commitment. C-O-M-M-I-T-M-E-N-T. Commitment. Part of a relationship. So you got Raya, which is the friendship part, companionship part. Bahava, which is the commitment part of the relationship. And then Dode. What do you think Dode is? Dode. It's the sex part of a relationship, the physical part of a relationship. Okay? D-O-D. Dode. The physical, sexual part of a relationship. Okay? And those are the three ingredients of love. Okay? Love isn't just sex by itself. Love isn't just friendship by itself. Love has to take commitment. And it takes those three things together, working together, to form true love, okay? Raya, Bahava, Do. Friendship, commitment, and sex, okay? So, building a fire. Have you ever built a fire? Does anybody been camping and built a fire? Yes, okay? When you build a fire, you don't just put big pieces of wood and then try to light it. It doesn't work, okay? You can't put big pieces of wood and throw gas on it and light it. It won't work. It'll just be out real fast. I promise. You can try it. Well, don't burn your house down. I didn't tell you to do that. Okay, you got to do it the right way. And you got to build a fire. What do? You put tinder. You know what tinder is? Littler things. Okay, it could be grass, could be lint, could be little sticks. Okay, you put tinder and kindling at the bottom of the fire, okay? And then you put kind of some bigger logs, gradually bigger logs on that. And then what else do you need? You need fire, right? Doesn't matter how much gas you have to have fire. So you have the tinder and the logs and the fire. So in our analogy, in the illustration here, Raya is the tinder. Okay? That friendship part, you can't have a fire just with a bunch of tinder. If you light a bunch of tinder, it's going to go out. Okay? So you have to have tinder, and then you also have to have some bigger logs. What would bigger logs be? Commitment, right? Being with each other, commitment, and that's bahava. Will be the bigger logs, and then the dough, the sexual part, that's kind of the fun part, the fire, the ignition to the whole thing. And to keep the fire going, listen up. To keep the fire going, you have to have all of that. Okay? If you don't have one of those things is out of the relationship with your wife or with your spouse. If you don't have all three of those things, then the fire goes out. So you have to keep dating. You have to do all those different things. So I think that's important that you understand that. And then the other thing that's important is the fireplace. Okay, I used to love to build fires in Boy Scouts. I'd go out and build a bunch of fires. And one thing that you have to have when you build a fire is what? Fireplace, man. You can't just be burning fires everywhere, right? So this illustration is kind of like if you were in your house, where would you build your fire? Yeah, you probably would. Right in the building his room, not his bed. Okay? You build it in the fireplace. Okay? So that same thing, when you have sex, it's like the fire part, right? And if you're lighting fires everywhere, what are you going to do? You're going to burn your house down. Okay? But if you build your fire in the fireplace in marriage, okay, if you build your fire in marriage, then you're building it in the fireplace. You're not building it in the middle of your living room or on your bed or in your closet or wherever. You're building in the right place, and that's where sex needs to be, is in marriage, in the fireplace. Well, we are so running out of time, and I've got so much to do here. Mythbusters. Have you ever seen Mythbusters? Okay, myths are beliefs that are widely held, but just because everyone believes them doesn't really make them true. Okay, have you ever heard the myth that if you swallow gum, that it takes 7 years to digest? Have you heard that?
No, I heard.
That's a myth. Okay, some people think it's true, but I do too. I've swallowed gum. It goes just like any other food. It's not really digestible, but it goes through, okay? Here's my Mythbuster slides. Here we go. We're going to have to take this quiz really fast. So here we go. Y'all ready? We're burning through this. True or false? The majority of high school students are having sex. Next. True or false? Having sex as a teenager is becoming more and more common. Next. STD stands for scare teens to death, some tough dude, or sexually transmitted disease. Next. Each year, 1 in blank sexually active teenagers gets an STD. 1,000, 150, or 4. 1 in what? Next. True or false? STDs always have symptoms or signs that can be noticed. Next. True or false? You can pick up an STD from oral sex. Next, approximately blank teenage girls get pregnant each year in the United States. 80% of these pregnancies are unplanned. 3,000, 30,000, or 300,000. Next, true or false? A girl can get pregnant the first time she has sex. Next, what percentage of guys who get girls pregnant actually marry those girls? 100%, 50%, 10%, 20%. Sorry, backwards. Anyway, next. And 10, there's 12 questions. The only protection that is 100% safe is taking birth control pills, using condoms, taking 13 showers a day, or practicing abstinence. True or false? About 1 in 10 teens who have sex wish they would have waited. 1 in 10. Next. After having sex, many teens have get depressed and suffer from low self-esteem, feel disappointed, hurt, and betrayed. Could be any of the above. All right, here we go. Mythbusters, here we go. All right, what is this? True or false? It is false. The majority of high school students are not having sex. Less than half of high school students actually have sex. That is a true thing. Missy made me look it up, and there's actually been a decline. Next one. Go ahead. True or false? False. Fewer students are having sex. Statistics have dropped since 1991. Yep. Dead serious. STD stands for scare teens to death. No, okay. Sexually transmitted disease. We actually went over that last week. Question number 4. Each year, 1 in how many? 1 in 4. 1 in 4 people that have sex get an STD. 1 in 4. Okay? Yeah, that's pretty disgusting. So if you're going to choose to do that, guess what? You're most likely going to get an STD. True or false? STDs have symptoms. No. It's false. Oh, wait a second. Did I put the wrong? Oh, yeah. Hang on. Is that right? STDs always have symptoms or signs.
You put the wrong answer.
I put the wrong answer. That is false. They don't always have signs because they can lie dormant for years without signs or symptoms. Okay, sorry, I tricked you guys. True or false? You can pick up an STD from oral sex. Is oral sex actually sex? It is definitely sex. Okay? You do not need to be doing any form of sex. Okay?
Good job.
Approximately blank teenage girls get pregnant each year. No. Go ahead. It is 3 million. Actually, none of those teenage girls get pregnant in the U.S. 3 million. I did trick you, I'm sorry. 8 in 10. 8 in 10 of those. That means it was 80% of those girls did not want to get pregnant. 80%. Anyways, question number 8. True or false? A girl can get pregnant the first time she has sex. Girls, that is true. Can get pregnant the first time you have sex. What percent of guys who get girls pregnant actually stay with these girls? It's about 20%. Alright? But that doesn't necessarily mean that they stay together. The only protection that is 100% safe is D, abstinence. You know what abstinence is? abstinence is choosing to not have sex before marriage. That is the only 100% safe protection. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, question number 11. True or false? Listen up. About 1 in 10 teens regret. Is that what it says? About 1 in 10 teens have sex. Wish they would have waited. No, it's false. Half. Okay, half of the teens that have sex wish that they had waited. And that may be more. I don't know. And then last thing, after having sex, many teens have regrets, are depressed, feel disappointed. D. They could feel any of those things above. And then here are 4 myths. Okay, and you might want to write these down. I don't know if you do or don't. Okay, the myth number 1 is everyone is having sex. It's a myth. People think that. People think everybody's doing it. And go ahead and push the button. Fact is, everyone is not doing it. Okay, that is a myth. Alright, myth number 2. Your sex drive is so strong you can't control it. Fact is that you can control your urges. You can do it. I promise. Okay, myth number 3. Safe sex is safe.
No.
There is no such thing as safe sex. Period.
Safe sex is no sex.
That's right. That's right. Sex is not a big deal. That is definitely what the media teaches you guys. Oh, sex isn't a big deal. You can go have sex whenever you want. You can have sex with whoever you want. That is not true. Okay? Sex is a big deal. I'm going to go over a couple scriptures, and then we're going to write something down. And these scriptures are important. God, in His Word, God doesn't talk a whole lot about attraction. God doesn't talk a whole lot about dating. What does God talk about?
Sex.
He definitely talks about sex a lot. And here we go. Here are some of the scriptures. Okay, you guys might want to write some of these down. Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature. What are some things that belong to your earthly nature? Your sinful nature.
Your body.
Sexual immorality, impurity, lust. What is lust? Lust is even thinking about having sex with somebody. Okay? That is lust. Thinking about it. Okay? Evil desires and greed, which is idolatry. Colossians 3:5. Just write down the verse. Don't write the whole verse down. You can do that later. We're not having a test over this, but your test is the way you live your life. That is your test. God's testing you. The devil is going to test you. The way you live your life, yes, will you'll either pass or you won't. These are Jesus's words right here. Jesus talks about it. Matthew 5:27, the Sermon on the Mount. You have heard that it was said, do not commit adultery, which is what?
10 Commandments.
Having sex before marriage, right? But what does Jesus say? What does Jesus say? What does Jesus say? He says, not only, I don't know, I'm waiting. He says, but I tell you, not only, but I tell you, who looks at a woman, anyone who looks at a woman or a man, for ladies, lustfully has already committed adultery with her or with him in his heart, in their heart. Okay? So just thinking about it, right? You've got to protect your thoughts. That's what this next verse is about. Well, actually, this is for the guys. Job, he's talking with some of his friends in Job, and they're telling him that the reason he's lost everything is because of this, or because of that, or because of this. And they mention sex, and he says, no, I've made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a girl, not to even think unwholesome thoughts about a girl. That's huge. Right there, when I read that verse and I started trying to put that into practice, that is huge. You need to get that tattooed on you. Okay? You need to make a covenant. Yes, butt tattoos after service. No, I'm kidding. Okay? Job 31:30. Make a covenant with your eyes. Okay? Especially you guys. That's how we work. Our brains work with our eyes. Make a covenant with your eyes not to look lustfully at a girl. Next one is we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive what? Every single thought. Okay, you guys have got to work at this. Okay, you need to protect your eyes. You need to be smart. Okay, and the other thing is you got to take captive every thought, because you guys your minds can start wandering off, and if you don't take it captive and make it obedient to Christ, it can become unwholesome. Okay, so make it obedient to Christ. Next one, I got a couple more verses here. This is for the girls. Okay, I also want women to dress modestly, with decency and propriety, not with braided or hair, or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. 1 Peter, he also talks about the way women should dress, okay? And the reason that he's talking about this is because men are turned on by their eyes, by what they see. So if you're dressed inappropriately, that's how things work, okay? So your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as braided hair and the wearing of gold jewelry and fine clothes, okay? Instead, where should it come? We talked about this. It should come from your inner self, from your character. The unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. Sorry, I'm hurrying. I've got a couple more verses. Is this the next? For this is the way the holy women of the past, who put their hope in God, used to make themselves beautiful. They were submissive to their own husbands. It is God's will that you should be sanctified and that you should avoid sexual immorality. You should avoid it. Okay? You've got to flee from it. Avoid it. That each of you should learn to control your body in a way that is holy and honorable. Not in passionate lust like the heathen who do not know God. You guys know who Jesus is. You know who God is. You know what pleases him. You need to act appropriately. For God did not call us to be impure, but to live a holy life. Oh goodness, we got two left. Okay, two little groups of verses. I know there's a lot more in the Bible, but I thought these were good. But among you, there must not even be what? Not even a hint, okay, of sexual immorality or of any kind of impurity or of greed, because these are improper for God's holy people. Nor should there be obscenity, foolish talk, or what? Coarse joking, right? We shouldn't even be joking coarsely with each other about sex, right? Did you guys? I can tell you a dirty joke. The white horse fell in the mud. It's funny, man. It got dirty. All right, last one. And I felt like this was the probably, like, if you memorize any verse, this would be a good verse to memorize. 1 Corinthians 6, and it's 18 through, is it 20? Yeah, 18 through 20. Flee from sexual immorality. What does it tell you to do? Flee from it. Does it say hang around and try to overcome it? What does it say? It says to flee. If you're tempted, you just got to get out of there. You've got to flee. Okay? All other sins, what do you commit all other sins with? All of their sins are outside of his body, but if you sin sexually, what are you doing? You're sinning with your body. Okay? And do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit? God lives in you. God speaks to you. Whom you have received from God. You are not your own, but what? You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your body. This is the last slide I'm going to do, okay? And then I'm going to announce the people that won. The last slide is this, an abstinence pledge. You guys know what an abstinence is? Where you promise yourself, okay? Go ahead and put up the pledge. If you guys want to take this pledge, I just want you to write this down in your notebook, okay? On one of the pages that you have in your notebook. And this is what the pledge says, okay? Write the whole thing down. I didn't print it in your book because I want you guys to write it down. If you really feel like that's something that you want to do, I want you to sit here and write it down. Nope, no, I'm not printing it out. And you can make a shortened version of it. You can do whatever you want. But my point is, you need to make a pledge to yourself. Okay, this is what it says. Believing that true love waits. Okay, love is what it's three different things. Raya, Bahava, and Dod, right? Those three different things. Okay, you need to wait to have sex, right? You need to wait for Dod. I make a commitment to God. I make a commitment to myself. I can make a commitment to my family, to my future spouse, to my future children, to a lifetime of purity. See, the choices you make now are going to affect the rest of your life. Yes, a lifetime. Even when you're married, you have, yes, it doesn't just, sexual temptation isn't over when you get married. If you think that, you're crazy. When you get married, why do you think people get divorced? Why do you think stuff happens like Bobo Petrino? Okay? Why does that stuff happen? Hey, Bobo made the decision, not me. You got to be pure for a lifetime. Even when you're married, that's something that you have to work at. Okay? For a lifetime of purity, including sexual abstinence from this day forward until I enter a marriage relationship or a biblical marriage relationship, and then sign it. And I just want you guys to remember that because it's important, and hopefully you guys are making that commitment. Are you ready for it, Mr. Chuck?